Hey there, folks. Welcome to the next GT7 Showcase. Starting with the Citroen BX19 TRS 1987. Alright, so here's the parts you can do to the BX19, which has an inline 4. It also is only like a 1.9 liters of motor. But yeah, I will say, no, I didn't add any engine parts because I will say I kind of kept it, tried to keep it more even this time in terms of competition this time around, since it's for the Sunday Cup 450. Because I will say the event dedicated for this is the Sunday Cup, one of the Sunday Cups. Yeah, I would say 208 horsepower with 213.9 foot per pound torque, and weighing just at 2,196 pounds. Not bad, it's pretty light. The weight to power ratio 4.71, which I'm not surprised. You know, 80s hatchback weren't that crazy, and considering this is already double the horsepower originally was, I think it was like 103 horsepower, so it wasn't a whole lot. But due to the interchangeable muffler parts and stuff like that, it bumped up like 2 times more, I would say. I would say, not bad overall. And it's still showing the parts at the end of the day, just to make sure. You can always just, as the saying goes, pause in case you need to see something in advance. But I'd say, yeah, I didn't add any engine parts because it didn't really need it. And I will say, in case you're wondering what tires I was using for this race, comfort mediums to on top of it. So basically what it initially had. You can also stick a wide body kit, and I will say for the wide body kit, it doesn't really change much. Now for the cosmetics section, you can change the rims, which, yeah, I definitely changed out those rims, because those things are ugly as heck, so I went with those instead. I should have brightened the color though, I gotta admit, when it came to adding these. Then again, I also had to redo the whole decal line, because I will say this is custom colored. For those that aren't noticing just yet. But you can definitely tell by the winch lines I had it. The winch lines in the grooves and stuff they could do. Because that is in the other section when it comes to decal. And the BX decal that's on the spoiler. Because that spoiler's not normal. So then, yeah, here's the back piece, which you could take the badges off, which, ow, keeping the badges on. You could also change the spoiler, which you can't have a custom spoiler, but you can have any of these selections here. Which I went with the basically Lancer looking Angler one. Then the hood pins, yeah, there's hood pins. Yep, and also 2 hooks. And then the roll cage, yeah, I went with Type A because it has back seats. Might as well still use them somehow. In some ways. And then light bulbs. Went with the orange because that kind of fits for its retro-esque look. It's the late 80s car. Which hoping to see more 80s cars in the future. This one's pretty interesting because I don't think I ever heard about this one either. Yeah, there's the license plate spots you put out and stuff. Although, if I did heard about it, I will say, I think it's very vague. But, yeah. It's very interesting at the end of it. You can also change the groove in the front to have a color, also. And then brake pads. Or brake discs, I should say. It's not bad. Overall. Now, for the event itself, it is at the Sunday Cup, as I just mentioned just earlier. But at Willow Springs International Raceway, streets of Willow Spring Reverse. Talk about a mouthful. Yeah, I am driving the Citroen BX19 TRS, which is a very interesting car because in terms of French cars, apparently this one's pretty good because this lasted for 12 years in terms of production history. I don't know if this matters a whole lot to others, but I guess it's France's best car. But I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of bad when 12 years when the Volkswagen lasted 50 years in comparison, so you know. Although, I mean, the Beetle was crud, well, this is something. But at least we got an interesting French car at the end of the day. Because I've never seen this one ever. So this is very interesting. Some people said it was a basic commuter hatchback. Which I could see it, considering 103 horsepower in 1980 is not much. Yep, see how well it holds up here throughout the race and stuff. But yeah, I did as even as possible with this 450. So I thought that was a good measure. If it's comfort mediums, because comfort mediums is a good spot for 450 PP. So, but to say though, it's a very interesting car at the end of it. Very different, considering how simple the buttons are on the dashboard here. And the speedometer itself. But yeah, this race is relatively short though, I gotta say. 2 laps around just the streets. And it takes about a minute and a half, so overall 3 minutes of this track at the end of it. Which is, I gotta say, kinda tight for even at a performance pace like this. I would hate to try to do this at 400, it'd be difficult. Unnecessarily difficult. Even though, I'm pretty sure these ones are hitting 400. It's just a matter of how far in they are by then. So then you're dealing with the 2 top contenders here, which is the other France car, that is the Civic Si, and the 206 DPI up there. The Pojos. So you got competition. And yeah, there's the stock BX, which, yeah, I will say, the BX's color offering is a dark blue. It's not the sky blue going on there. But those special baby blue looking bumpers. Yeah, it has 2 different blues on that one. Yeah, you got that one or you got a red one they also showed. Sadly, you can only get the dark blue because it is in the used dealership. They were pretty cheap though, like 30 grand, so not bad. Overall, not bad at all. That part. Yep, just send me off to its way basically at the end of the day. Otherwise, basically a basic functional fun little car drive. I am kind of disappointed it wasn't FR though. I was hoping it was a FR hatchback because that would be more interesting, but it is what it is. And thus we hit the finish line. Now, on to the next car. Let's whip it around. Which is the next car is a Peugeot 208 LR 2021 version. And here's the parts for this one, which I gotta say, not bad as well. I gotta say, I'm kind of actually shocked, really, because I thought this was gonna be a big old disappointment. But no, for a compact SUV, which yeah, it's not a crossover, it's a compact SUV. I don't know what's the difference about that. Besides, I noticed it's a bit bigger in characteristics looking at it. But that's really about it. Otherwise, shockingly, it has an inline 3-cylinder motor, which I don't know what to say on that one. At the end of that, it's a very basically normal pace car like the BX, I would say. Just modernized, just a bit better in control and factors and stuff like that. I will say it did weigh like 2,800 pounds, so it does have the SUV characteristics at least. But for a motor, I'm just shocked it's like a 1.1 liter. It's not a big motor, and it's an inline 3. I don't know if the regular 2A has that same motor or not, but I'm kind of shocked at the end of Then again, I also heard this engine's also infamous too. I'm not sure what on that. I couldn't really explain that to you if I wanted to at the end of the day, so I don't know much about that. But it can have a wide body, of course, as the saying goes. And now onto the cosmetics itself, which, yeah, I stick with the stock rims because those ain't bad. And 17 inches though, holy crap, they're big. Cause yeah, I will say I do kind of debate after looking at this case, cause yeah, when I went to go look at the rims, yeah, you could put a 15 inch on that, which I would probably put a 16 inch, cause I want some rubber wall, not all rubber wall. So. But yeah, you can wide at least the front, cause yeah, you weren't able to wide or even offset the BX at all. You can add a front lip, you can add side lip. Or you can keep the rail, because I just realized it takes that off. And you can take the back wiper off if you really want to. And for spoiler, you can just add what looks like a rally spoiler. Interesting choice there. Hood pins, a tow hook, roll cage. I will say add some decal to this, because I do like to spruce up the cars a little bit, because I add the French flag in the front. Behold, it's French. Cause yeah, they really went down the line on the cars to go for, which is the French cars overall for this update. But now onto the European Sunday Cup 400 at the Walkinsglen Short Course, I believe it's called. But yeah, the Peugeot 2008 over, which I thought was going to be a disappointment. I'd take that back. It's not so bad as I thought. It probably doesn't hit like a crazy performance though. I would probably say around 550 pp for the most part. Otherwise, not a bad car overall. I gotta say. I will say it does have a relationship with another car, a Peugeot, which is the 208, because it shares the same platform as the 208 in some cases. It's just basically at the end of the day a bigger 208. If you want a 2.8, that's just bigger. And I gotta say, for looks wise, it looks pretty good. Shockingly, for an SUV, I actually don't mind this one. It looks nice. I can't say much about the motor though, because like I said, it sounded like it was an infamous motor, but I'm not sure on that part or not. What some people have said throughout the notes I read when it came to the introduction of these cars. Yeah, as the saying goes, Cass tosses out a picture and I hear comments from people based on what they're seeing and realizing. Could this be the one with the bad motor? Who knows? I will say it's interesting though, look at the dashboard in this one. While I do love the speedometers and stuff, how they stick out there. The miles per hour is shown on the dashboard, which shocks me because you would think it would show kilometers per hour because most cars do that and such. Then there's the Peugeot 208 right there, and just looking at it, yeah, just looking at me trying to pass by here. Just looking at it, it's a little different. And then not only that, the Peugeot's on the left side, but this is on the right side, but it has those miles per hour still. Very interesting. But then again, that Peugeot 208 is pretty old. Yeah. And then you got the Alfa Romeo Mito in the back there. And a Polo right here. But yeah, the real competition is the Megane RS, which I'm not surprised, he has sports hard tires. Luckily, I have speed, so thank God for that. Otherwise, he'd be a problem. And thus it becomes unfair because it's definitely not 400 pp at all. But yeah, if I had to play the safe side though, go 450. Because as the same case I did with the Citroen BX, 450 is the way to go for comfort mediums. Anything beyond that, I would start say sports hard for 500, and then 550 sports medium if you're a front car. You got 2.8 GTI, you can get the Clio RS in the back. Get the trophy, Clio RS trophy, trying to catch up to 2.8 right now. And then you got a Golf 8 GTI, and then the 2008 Allure, in case you just want to see the stock version. Yeah, even the stock version is not so bad. Looking at it. So I just slapped on the spoiler, to be honest. I could have just turned around and just slapped the actual spoiler instead of that, because yeah, the one weird thing they've been doing with these SUVs is slapping a Pikes Peak spoiler or something like this. It's either a rally spoiler or this. At the end of the day, you got a McGinney chasing after me. He's just as fast. I was like hitting like 116 there. And me Cooper's just trying to catch along. Wait up, god dang it. But yeah, the Peugeot 2008, not so bad. Honestly, I kind of want to call it the Peugeot Allure, but I think that's just a trim edition, so. But otherwise, not a bad car. Get the RCV and Lancia. Lancia Delta HF, which speaking of, we'll be getting to that in a minute here. As we get to the end here, which I don't know if he's catching up to me or not. It looks like, very looks that way though. He's trying. I know, saying it's like, he looks like he's itching, but I'm not sure if he is or not. I think he was. I'm pretty sure I think he was. Let's see the lap. Oh, he didn't beat my lap. It sounds like it was like on par at the end of the day. But now on to the Delta HF Integrated Rally Car 1992. A beautiful ride machine. Which here's the parts you can do to this, which is not a whole lot, but you can bump it up to like 800 horsepower. I nerfed it down to 641 to keep it competitive for 700 pp's sake. Although I needed to go turn around and buy dirt tires, which I really just did. Otherwise, it has an inline 4-cylinder, just like probably the regular Delta HF, I assume. It's just, I will say, for horsepower difference though, this is definitely beefier. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and slap the rally motor eventually to those stock car in the future. Just lately they haven't done that. I know they've done one case of update where the engine, where we had the initial car with the engine, and you can also just turn around and just engine swap it. I don't know if it was the Civic F or something else. I cannot remember on that part. Heck, speaking of, yeah, we have an engine swap of cars, but I'm kind of disappointed about one thing, is that they really need to offer those said cars that have the engine swaps in the used dealership before they offer these cars for the engine swap, because it really sucks of trying to find out which cars it was at the end of the day. But yeah, here's the stuff you can do, which, very weird rims, I gotta say. It has like a spacer or something, some kind of weight or something on the rims. Maybe that must be a weight ballistic or something in case it was just too powerful, which might have been around that year season, as this was the last Lancia Delta 1992. But yeah, it's got some fog lights. You can slap some fog lights for the front there, and you can do mud flaps. You have extended mud flaps if you really want to. Oh wait, it probably not have mud flaps. Oh, it just has like those weird things there. But yep. You can have mud flaps, and then you can also, if you go into for the decal stuff, you can turn around and slap some tire stickers on the side. I hope this comes more often with normal cars, but sadly, just mostly racing cars when it comes to this. Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff. I just noticed this for like the first time for this one car series, because usually it's not that insane. Like, there's a case where you just remove this sticker and that's it. Where this one has like all kinds and stuff. It's very shocking in regards. But number 3 in the side of Cardo. Now we're doing the World Rally Challenge, which is at Colorado Springs Lake. Yeah, $65,000, not bad. So the Delta HF Integrale 1992. This was basically Lancia's response after a tragedy that was with the Delta S4. More to that if you go find an autobiography about that, about the Group B ride, why that ceased to exist because of Lancia's actions. I'll just say that. Oh yes, let's put the gas tank beneath the seat. That's fine, for example. But the after that, Lancia went on to do Group A rides since Group A still existed. And Group A is a lot more safer and a lot more bass to the car at the end of the day. Just a bit more supercharged in terms of turbos and the engine and stuff. Considering this can go 800, I think the Breger one can go like 600 or something like that. But to say though, Lancia had a heck of a battle throughout the rally of that time, which was, to say, like within the last 3 years they were dealing with Celica. Toyota Celica, because that was when Toyota was understanding some things and, you know, making a better Celica and stuff with the ST205, I believe, or before that. I can't remember. I think it's just before that one, like a 194 or something like that. But when it came to that, they still technically lost, but they also won by the championship side of things, because you have two ways you can win the competition. You can win it by the championship manufacturer, or you can win it by just basically doing it, I believe, or just, you know, rally points and stuff. Which basically Toyota basically stole that from them twice. But upon this last year, when this car got made and stuff, Lancia figured out ways to reinforce the chassis, lightweight and stuff, which gave it enough upper hand to win that last year for rally before they ceased to participate in rally because of Fiat Group Company decided to just off them at that point. And besides just offering them, they also offer them because particularly they were probably scared of Toyota eventually there, even though Toyota had a little secret up their sleeves that wasn't eventually discovered until the later Celica, which was a cheated turbo. I can't say they had a cheated turbo at the time though, but it's probably safe to say, maybe. There was probably something to that. But yeah, the Lancia Delta HF Integrale rally car is a beast of a rally car. Just like the Audi Sports Quattro Pikes Peak you see here and such. Better say a fun car regardless. See how fast this thing just rolls around and stuff, which I'm not surprised. But if the regular one is that crazy, the rally car is even much crazier. Also, if there's like one probably issue known for the Lancia Delta, well, I will say probably not this one's case, is the tight steering they're known, or the regular one was known for, but I'd say the rally car probably doesn't have that fault, I'd assume. The way I was just driving around this car seems fine, because it's perfectly balanced. But yeah, speaking of, if there's one problem with the BX was pretty stiff on the steering. That was what I'd like to mention. So if I had to give a ranking to each of the cars, I'd say the Lancia Delta, of course, an A. I think it's a beast. The 2008 Peugeot, I'm going to give a B on that one. That one surprised me a little bit. I think that was probably the best SUV, to be honest. While the VX, a B, it's something. It's not terrible. Or something like the Unimog, a D. Because, yeah, while it is a cool tractor truck, it's a tractor truck. It operates like a tractor. So it has the speed of a tractor of that time. Yeah, at this point, just whipping around Lancia at the end of the day, because yeah, it's having fun with it. That's basically what you do at this point. While these chumps just drive at pedestrian speeds on the rally course. Yeah, that's the thing about the AIs when it comes to these dirt courses, they suck at it. And such. Unless you slap My only guess, if I slap on the hard mode, then they probably be a threat, but otherwise, they really don't do a whole lot. And I really hate that because that just feels like a big step instead of a small step. I feel like this needs to be another difficulty in between the hard and stuff. Or retweak hard just a little bit easier or something, I'm not sure. I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway because you don't get a higher pay grade. If there was a higher pay grade, I'd do in a heartbeat. But there's no higher pay grade, so what's the point? That's the bad part. But yeah, again, I'll mention this again with the engine swaps when we get to here, because yeah, I have the engine swaps listed here. It's just a matter of time getting there. But to mention more about that, I really hate the fact that these guys toss the engine swaps, but they don't toss the cars for the engine swaps in the used dealerships. Any of the used ones or any of the auction ones in the store. As a matter of fact, the Sylvia K that is one of the engine swaps, I will say, because yeah, we have the Sylvia K once again, which is I believe the S14 or S13. It's one of the two there. But one of those ones are in the used dealership right now. It's about to go. It is about to go right now. Like as soon, when I say right now, I mean as in, I don't know if like the next 7 o'clock here, because I will say this is before the 7 o'clock before it goes, or now basically. Because as soon as I upload this, it's gonna be, I don't know if it's still gonna be there by then. So that's something to note. And that's what I hate about when they do the engine swaps, because they should have like a special event sale for those cars, like redistribute them for that reason. That way people could just turn around and just do the engine swap. I understand for the premium cars, that's fine. You don't have to do anything for that. Matter of fact, less premium cars in the used car dealership, please. Screw that. Because what's the point of buying used ones? Besides, oh, I want miles on the car. What's the point of that? But yeah, at the end of the day, more to the Lancia your Delta. This is just a fun car to drive around at the end of the day. Look how fast it is, like 126. I might have been a bit broken. I mean, they listed 700 pp for God's sakes. I mean, you could probably hit up there, but you know. But yeah, here's the engine swaps anyways, which we got the Porsche 911 for this one, because yeah, I will say they don't really tell you which engines either. So for the Fairlane Z, it's the VR38, I believe. I believe it's the VR38 GTR Nismo. For the S14 is also the VR38 GTR Nismo, because it looks like they just stuffed some GTR Nismos in 2 cars here. However, for the S14 here, we got the SR20 Silvia, so if you want a better Silvia motor, here you go. And then for the last one, we had the RCF with the Bugatti W16 Chiron motor. Because I'm not going to mention the whole that, because oh my god. Now you're probably wondering, which one did I pick for the bonus? And it is the Subaru BRZ with the 911 motor, because I was very curious about this one. But yeah, I usually pick one for the send-off, and this would be this car for the send-off and stuff. So yeah, that's basically about it for the showcase of GT7. I thank you all for watching stuff. Overall, if I gotta say for this update, probably just a B. It's nothing special, but it's something. You get a couple cars, that's really about it. At the end of the day, it's very basic, and that's what my B stands for, basic. And stuff. So, until then people, I'll see y'all next time. I hope you enjoyed the rest of this reel here, and until then, ciao. Also, can I just say I love the stupid camera glitch going on the Corvette race car there for a good second?